So today is October 16th. And just 2 days ago was the birthday of a very prominent figure in American history. A very special figure. This man, lost his life. This man had his life taken from him by the hands of a white American male police officer. This man's death gained nationwide attention. Many call it one of the greatest tragedies and injustices of modern society. This man's death helped fuel a modern-day civil rights movement known as Black Lives Matter. And I gotta ask, why are we celebrating this man's birthday? Why are we celebrating this man's birthday? George Floyd, multiple-time convict, degenerate, a terror to his community. Why are we celebrating? So I was scrolling through Facebook. That's how I found out that 2 days ago was George Floyd's birthday. And there was this post dedicated to his birthday and dedicated to mourning his death. As if this man was some sort of American hero, Black American inspiration. Well, George Floyd, he changed lives. If it wasn't for George Floyd, American society wouldn't be progressing. It would be nothing without George Floyd and his sacrifice or death, whatever the hell you want to call it. George Floyd, the martyr? Really? George Floyd, the martyr? Really? Like I said, multiple-time convict, a terror to society, and in particularly his people, as they say, his people, the Black community. You give a fuck about George Floyd? Anybody that grew up in the hood or in predominantly Black communities, because it ain't really just the hood, even though most Black communities are the hood. But even if you want to take in consideration certain predominantly Black communities that ain't necessarily hood, even then, there's still a lot of hood shit that goes on. Anybody, specifically any Black person that grew up around lots of Black people, especially if you're from the hood, you grew up in the hood or got experience with hood motherfuckers, hood rats too, hoodlums, hood, men or women, guy, girl, whatever, people from the hood, anybody that grew up around a lot of Black people No, a motherfucker like George Floyd was a pain in the ass. I don't give a fuck about George Floyd. And nobody, no black person that grew up in the hood gives a fuck about George Floyd. Scratch that. No black person that actually wanted to get out of the hood and wasn't on hood shit. Because you got a lot of black people that's about that life. That's about that hood shit. I ain't talking about these types of black people. I'm talking about the black people that wasn't on the hood shit and more or less tried to dip and dodge and, stay out of the bullshit. But sometimes the bullshit just had a way of finding you. They don't give a fuck about George Floyd. They hoping a guy like George Floyd is gone. Fuck about George Floyd. Fuck George Floyd. And then you have certain individuals throwing this man in our face, society's face, as some sort of American hero, some sort of symbol of resistance to oppression or bigotry, racism, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That man was not killed because of racism. And even if he was, I don't give a fuck. Because he was a menace. He was a nuisance. See, this isn't one of those rants going in on, the degenerates in the black community or society, whatnot, in hopes to pander to white people. No, I know racism exists. Fuck racist white people too. And if he was killed because of racism, again, I don't give a fuck. And that's not me saying that racism can affect me too. Fuck racist white people as well. But if racist white people want to take out stupid ass black people, be my guest. And vice versa. I'ma never get in the way of any of my enemies taking each other out. Now, am I advocating violence? Of course not. I would never do such a thing under the watchful eye of YouTube guidelines. But if it should happen, I'm not going to be sad about it. If two groups or multiple groups are out to get me and they end up just, picking each other off, I don't give a fuck. So fuck George Floyd. I don't care why he died. Well, let me stop right there. I do care why he died, because why a person has their life taken away from them, and even if their life isn't necessarily taken away from them from another person or whatnot, I do care why a person dies, right? But once I find out why they die, and I hear the backstory of this person's life and what kind of life they lived and what they did to other people and this and that, yeah, I really don't give a fuck about how they died. Anybody that would have been a terror to my life or any decent human being's life that's just out here trying to do the right thing, I don't give a fuck about. You know who I want to celebrate? I want to celebrate good people. That's who I want to celebrate. Somebody like Michael Jamal Warner. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to the great Michael Jamal Warner, a great human being, a great black man. And again, a great human being, because ultimately I care about great human beings, good people. But since there is a racial dynamic to this whole thing, I'm going to talk about him being a black man. That's who I care about. I care about Tito Jackson. Tito Jackson's birthday, his birthday, was actually after George Floyd's birthday. Happy birthday, Tito Jackson. Happy belated birthday. Rest in peace, Tito Jackson. A good guy. A legend. Touched the world in a positive way. Give a fuck about George Floyd. Don't push George Floyd on me. Anybody that lived a life just harassing people, terrorizing people, doing people dirty, fuck them. Fuck them. The sooner they're out of everybody's hair, the better. At the end of the day, we're all gonna die, right? But man, if some people can go sooner than others, the sooner the better. The sooner they go, the sooner people can probably establish a little bit of peace and happiness. Give a fuck about George Floyd. That's all I got to say.